Today we'll be going over the Ingram Solution Design and Services AWS line and cover the when, why, and how to make use of the program. So first off, why consider infrastructure as a service? Before we even get into the Ingram pre-sales offering, let's first cover why we're even bringing this up. Why would you want to bring up Amazon Web Services to your customers if they aren't already asking for it? Maybe you're comfortable just selling hardware and the different peripherals that go with it. You might just be providing software licenses and renewals, or it's possible you simply haven't really given much thought about IaaS in general. Well, when dealing with hardware, infrastructure as a service offerings often provide a favorable total cost of ownership versus equivalent on-premise hardware. This is because infrastructure as a service provides more flexibility than on-premise hardware. You can turn it on and off at will, and the pay-as-you-go payment model takes full advantage of this. Also, IaaS workloads can scale either horizontally or vertically in seconds to meet demands. With on-premise equipment, you have long sales cycles to obtain the required new hardware. When it comes to software licenses, pre-licensed images, software as a service, and bring your own license options are available in cloud environments. However, bring your own license allows you to still sell the licenses, while the other options can leave you out of the deal entirely. In whole, cloud service adoption is increasingly growing. Chances are, if you aren't bringing up cloud-based options to your customers, they'll find out about it from other sources. Last year, Amazon Web Services did over $25 billion in revenue, with only 15% of it going through the channel. 61% of all public cloud adoption is being purchased through Amazon Web Services, and the projected infrastructure as a service market is expected to reach $84 billion in 2021. So there's a lot of potential out there and a lot of chances for you to be missing out on this unless you take action on it. So how can AWS affect your business? Well, currently, customers will come to a reseller with a project and order what they need to accomplish that project. The reseller uses Ingram Micro as their distributor to complete the purchases of servers, networking equipment, peripherals, and licenses. The reseller gets paid, Ingram gets paid, and the customer enjoys a discount on their purchase. If the customer finds out about Amazon on their own or through other means, there is nothing stopping them from using the AWS marketplace to spin up everything they need for a lower cost than purchasing on-premise hardware. Software vendors will often create standalone Amazon machine images with both their software and licenses ready to go. If the customer uses one of these AMIs, the vendor still makes their money, and the customer benefits from having software ready to use within seconds. Unfortunately, going direct through Amazon cuts both the reseller and Ingram out of the deal. Where before there were multiple purchases being made, now there are none whatsoever. So how to tap into this revenue through AWS? When tiering with Ingram Micro for AWS, the reseller and their customers will be placed into an organization. Each month, the reseller will get a consolidated bill from Ingram Micro containing all the usage from the reseller's customers instead of multiple bills for each one. The reseller then submits their bills to their customers to get paid. By consolidating payments in this manner, volume discounts on services can be obtained, in addition to discounts from the AWS Partner Program. The customer benefits from discounted Amazon pricing, and the reseller benefits from the discounts, recurring revenue from the customer, and the position of being able to provide various services to the customers like migrations and assessments. So some of the benefits of tiering with Ingram Micro are, of course, the simplified billing program, margin discounts that come through that partner network programs, access to Cloud Checker, which is a cost, security, and governance cloud management platform that will help you organize your organization. The ability to resell Amazon as a registered tier AWS partner, which is something that is an exclusive, only partners that are registered tier through Ingram will be able to resell AWS. Anyone else, and they'll have to go through getting their competencies up before they're allowed to resell it through the AWS Partner Program. White label professional services like our lifecycle services and IAM-Link, and access to Ingram Micro's solution design and services AWS line. So let's talk a little bit about the solution design and services team. Within SD&S, we have 6 call center members who have gone through their AWS business and technical accreditations. They have also completed the total cost of ownership and cloud economics training through Amazon. In addition to the AWS line, the members also collectively staff our virtualization line, VMware line, and our cloud services help desk. Individual members may also have server, storage, and networking backgrounds that they can leverage and bring to the table in those conversations. Additional AWS resources we have and to those 6 people are 2 field technical consultants. One is Tyler Bursey, who is our resident cloud checker expert, and primarily covers how companies work with Ingram through AWS organizations. Phil Brocky is another one. He covers both Azure and AWS services, covers more from a best practice at a much deeper level. And finally, a technical account manager whose role is to enable the call center line with resources, training, and help out with larger opportunities and do the research into solution options and caveats. So what can you expect from us? We're here to help answer questions about services, recommend solutions, and provide documentation. If there's enough information to go off of, we can provide a rough cost estimation of AWS services for the customer. If there isn't enough information, then we will provide questions that need to be answered or ask for clarification on what the request is. One thing Solution Design and Services is able to provide are end user conversations. If your customer is available, you can conference them in and the AWS team can ask them questions directly and get the answers from a primary source. The key takeaways here are, if you have a potential Amazon opportunity or want to push a customer from purchasing hardware to utilizing cloud services, give us a call and we can help get that conversation started and help you out with that. If your customer is curious about the cost of services and you are proficient in Amazon and being able to recommend services and help out your customer, putting together that total cost of ownership conversation and using the simple monthly calculator to put together an estimate is time consuming. And this is something that you can easily offload onto us. If you provide the information from the assessment and just the evaluation from the discovery call that you decide you could put together yourself, then let us work and put together an estimate that is something that you can take a document, be able to look at it weeks from now or give it to a customer, and everyone will know exactly what is going on with that. It's a service that we'll be able to provide to you to just help make this as easy as possible. Some things we don't do, we will only be providing best effort estimates and not quotes. AWS is purchased by the customer spinning up services on your company's organization. There really isn't quote-based pricing that can be provided on AWS. Also, the cost of Amazon services depends wholly on what is used and how it is used. There are just too many variables to be able to provide a fixed 100% accurate pricing. Our solution design and services team will be able to recommend services the customer will need to accomplish the project, but they will not be providing how to actually configure and set this up outside of a getting started guide or solution white paper. Assessments, setup, and configuration are perfect value add-on professional services opportunities a reseller can offer a customer. The team is meant for pre-sales design and estimates. They're not trained to be technical support for AWS. So if a customer is having an issue with their Amazon environment, they should create a support ticket with AWS. So some of the things that our AWS line is capable of helping out with are moving from on-premise hardware to Amazon. We'll be able to explain how matching up server resources one-to-one with AWS instances is not the way to go, and be able to recommend various assessment tools so that they can get a good idea of how to move an on-premise environment up to Amazon. We can also discuss different multiple options for transferring data from an on-premise site up to either AWS S3 or EFS. And if you're moving virtual machines over to Amazon, that's something that we'll be able to discuss the different ways that we can. So that could be from VMware, Hyper-V, or even from Azure over to AWS. We can discuss the different combinations of services needed to spin up a highly available and redundant workload in AWS. So if you have an application and you want to make it just purely cloud native, that's something that we can help you walk you through the process of what you would be looking at for that. If you're using a backup program, will be available for backup and disaster recovery services in Amazon. So third-party backup solutions should go through their vendor teams. So like if you're using Veeam and you have a question of exactly how Veeam works, that would go through Veeam team, which is also a team within this solution design and services call contact center. A lot of these third-party programs have built-in connectors for like Amazon S3 buckets, and then from our end, we'll be able to help you out with what bucket type you would be looking at, what kind of pricing and an estimate that you would be looking at as well, and the different caveats that go into how to estimate that pricing. Some of the things that we can help out with are options available to federate Active Directory users between on-prem and AWS. So you can either have a connector from your on-premise environment and have it connect into your cloud environment. You can have a completely hosted Microsoft Active Directory service set up within AWS. Or if it's just a Linux-based application that just needs a user base to go off of, you can set up a simple LDAP Active Directory within AWS as well. And then we can go over how customers can seamlessly connect their on-prem locations to AWS to create like a hybrid cloud using storage gateways or site-to-site VPN tunnels. And then finally, spin up complete VDI virtual desktops environments through the use of Amazon Workspaces or AWS AppStream. So in closing, cloud is a growing business and resellers need to be proactive about it. Ingram Micro provides services to enable resellers access to AWS's best practices, and solution design and services is a service that resellers can leverage to find or accelerate cloud opportunities. We can work with you to help grow your AWS business. And then finally, this is how you'll be able to contact us. When calling in, you'll need to enter your Ingram Micro number on the phone. So every company or reseller that has an account with Ingram Micro will have an account number. So as soon as you call the 1-800 number, it'll ask for your account, enter that 8-digit number, and then enter in this extension, the 77237. You'll enter a queue, and shortly after your call will be picked up by a technician. That is when your conversation will start. You'll provide them what the customer need is. They'll put together notes on what the solution will be, which will include different links to either white papers or solution designs. And if enough information was provided and an estimate was able to be generated, that will also be attached to the email that you receive. You'll also be provided a reference number in case you need to call back on this opportunity so that you can start from right where you left off, rather than having to start this entire process over from scratch. And last but not least, we want your feedback. Constructive criticism will help us grow and fix this team. If something's working, let us reinforce it. If something's not working, let us fix it. Just let us know what is and what isn't working for you so that we can help tailor this to be exactly what you need and want and is beneficial towards you. And I appreciate your time, and thank you very much for learning about our AWS Line program.